Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
We're coming at you hot and fresh with our latest theme, based on a K.D. Lang song title to encompass the lesser-known works of director Wes Craven, Constant Craven.
It did work out to be his lesser-known works.
Yeah.
And it seems like we're going to stick just to the 80s, aren't we?
Well, depending on what...
Yeah, it depends on what the listener picks. But
and ironically, the listener who won... And by the way, that's Andy.
Hi.
Amy.
Hi.
And I'm Freddy. The listener who won our mailing list raffle for this theme, which I'm sorry I sent that out so late. It's the holidays, and I think my brain shut down. But his name is Wes. And I was like, what in the world? So Wes Stewart, if you hear this, make sure you check your email and email me back if you can by Thursday. If not, I'll hold that spot for you in a future theme.
How what's the word? Serendipitous.
I love it.
Yeah. It's really weird when I use
the synergy of it all.
Random number generator, to pick them from the list. By the way, if you want a chance that all you have to do is subscribe to our mailing list at notlp.com. So if you subscribe to that, you're out of the list, and a random number generator, boom, Wes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Do you guys
let's do Toby
want to
Hooper.
buy a lottery ticket?
See if we have any Tobys in there.
Yeah, let's do Toby Hooper month and see if we can pick a Toby.
And we can call it Toby or not Toby.
It's terrible.
And it has to
you
be,
shut up.
And it has to be movies on Tubi.
Movies by Toby on Tubi.
By Toby's on Tubi.
So we've done so far this theme, Invitation to Hell, which was the made-for-TV movie with Susan Lucci and Robert Urich.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did Deadly Friend.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're on to Shocker. And these kind of, especially the absurdity of Invitation to Hell is reflected all the way through all three of these movies.
Of course.
Nightmare on Elm Street was pretty absurd too, wasn't it?
It was, but I feel like these movies are much
somehow
more campy.
Grounded.
Yeah, these movies are way campier than anything else that I can think of that he did.
How is Nightmare somehow more grounded than every movie we've watched?
It is, because it hasn't... There's a real scary quality to Nightmare on Elm Street that's almost impossible to define.
Right.
And impossible to duplicate, because in this week's main attraction, Shocker, he kind of does try to duplicate it, and it's interesting to see how that plays out. He tries to take the best of Nightmare on Elm Street and freshen it up and turn it into some new property,
Well, it's weird. It felt... I know he didn't direct the sequels, but it felt like sequels? More of those.
Yeah.
Along the lines of the sequels in the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I could see that too, Andy.
Now I see what he meant. I thought you meant there was a Shocker 2, 3, 4.
And I think that goes to show he was trying to do what those directors were trying to do and kind of cherry pick out the best bits.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Shocker sequel, because I guess this show is a Shocker sequel since we've done this already.
Yeah. I didn't realize it. I felt like we did.
I've never seen this movie before in my existence.
Amy must not have been on that episode, and I'm sure it was a really long time ago. But Connor Bryce.
Somebody is going to come back and tell me.
We're going to give you the list of movies we're going to do before we do them. And you tell us if we've done them already. Cause,
we do not keep notes. We do not keep records.
Well, we kind of do. I search our website when we do
but we're missing
movie.
a large chunk.
But that's the thing. But if it's not there, at least I know it's so old that it's worth revisiting.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to look back and see if our movie thoughts have changed, but it's still kind of embarrassing that we picked the same movie twice.
You know what, though?
The same theme twice, because we did Magic Month, and I guess we did that already. Yeah. And we've done Lord of the Legions already, too.
You know what, though? I think we bring a fresh perspective every time. I really do. I think
most of those older episodes,
enough.
again, are still not available.
Yeah, not yet.
Only through Origins, which is at our Patreon.
So that's another thing you get at patreon.com is Origins, where we revisit old episodes.
/NOTLP.
Yeah.
I mean, is it an indictment on the movies that we don't remember that we did them?
Sometimes.
Then it's also but more often than not lately, it's an indictment on just our bad record keeping and memories.
So if you go to that Patreon page, you'll find not only Origins, where we're about to post episode 289 from
sometime in 2012.
12 years ago, right? Yeah. And Topicana, we had an episode most recently, the Google Hour.
Where we Freddy Googled a lot.
I Googled a lot. But we will return for Topicana this Friday with a new topic or topics. And there's a whole new show now.
Yep.
On Patreon that I'm doing with Joe Juvland, who longtime friend and supporter of the show is now.
Yeah, long time.
He's in deep now.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I would love to do a Twilight Zone podcast. And I'm like, you know what? I've thought about doing that for years too. Why don't we just do it? And now we're doing it one episode at a time. There are 159, I think, original series episodes.
I'm going to make you finish this.
Yeah, we're going to. I just finished a rewatch of the entire series literally like a week or two before he emailed me or messaged me about wanting to do the show.
And
Yeah,
there's
like,
also
here we go
movies and the reboot with Jordan Peele
I'd like to think that
and the ride at Disney World.
we will last that long. I'm going to try to as those points come up because I wanted to talk about the history of the ride. And I think whenever we talk about the ride, Andy, you have to be there for that because of your
I'm
ride
legendary
story.
on that ride.
You are legendary on that ride. We almost got banned.
It's funny, like you said, like earlier, like Joe's in deep, like he infiltrated us. And he's deep cover.
Well, he's sucked all the way into this gig now. But
So it's called Zoned Out, which I
Zoned
think is
Out.
adorable.
yeah, that's Joe's name
It was
for it.
very good.
We tried a few different names. I like rezoned, and I wasn't really happy with that. But he came up
Neighborhood
with Zoned
zoning
Out.
project.
Yeah, it was like,
You like city planning? Then we've got the show for you.
yeah, pretty terrible. But luckily we have a good title. Zoned Out every Friday at 10. That's the same time that the original Twilight Zone series aired
10 o'clock.
at night on
Back
Fridays.
then?
Yeah.
I didn't know people were up back then.
Yeah,
All right.
apparently. This is like probably one of the last things, maybe one of the last 3 or 4 things on the air before the stations were gone offline for the night. Off the air at midnight usually.
Yeah, we'll play the national anthem, then sign off.
Yeah, I'm not sure what followed Twilight Zone. I should know that. What was in the lineup with it originally? I probably did know it at some time, but my brain pooped it out like it did Shocker.
I listened to this first episode, and I can tell you that they have an extensive knowledge, and it was really interesting to hear you guys talk
thanks.
about the zone.
Where is everybody? Is the first episode. The first
Right here.
the first 4 episodes of the Twilight Zone, all by Rod Serling, are all just fantastic bangers. Not to
So
say
you
the
put
ones
out-
beyond that aren't great, but,
Right. God forbid.
but on a revisit, I'm noticing there's
Yeah.
a consistency in those first episodes.
So you released the first episode for free on the main feed.
And I think, if there's enough people enjoying it, I might just leave it, to post both
Or
to
it's gonna
Patreon
be
as ad free.
Yeah.
So it's available ad free on Patreon, where you can listen with ads at the regular feed. But at least the first 3 episodes or 4 episodes, I'm at least going to put those out there. And if people are enjoying it and it's easy for people to kind of just get it there, then we'll just leave it going there.
Okay.
Space permitting, if they allow us to upload that many shows
Yeah.
onto Libsyn, I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes.
Are you wearing the T-shirt, the seer from the who's the actor?
It's the William Shatner episode. Yeah.
Is that the same T-shirt?
Billy Schatz.
Yeah, with the fortune-telling
Yeah.
machine in the diner, the Mystic Seer. Our friend Nathan has a replica of the machine. Have you
yeah.
noticed that in his dining? I think it's in his dining room. That's
How fitting.
the editor of Whorehound magazine. I hope no one tries to burgle your Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Way to go,
replica now that
Freddy.
I've told everybody you have it.
Don't burgle my Twilight Zone, man.
So this week's main attraction, Shocker, again revisited.
Shocker.
Connor said that he remembered that we covered it, and I remembered the name Horace Pinker, but I didn't remember the rest of this. That Connor said I said 2 in the Horace Pinker, 1 in the Horace Stinker, and that's how he remembered.
Because that's a classic line.
There we go.
See,
That's
Wes Craven, look
something
what
to
you've
remember.
wrought.
Yeah, this is your fault, Wes Craven's ghost.
Sure, it's Wes Craven's fault.
And then after the main attraction, we all agreed that we're going to discuss Red One, the Amazon original movie that
Okay.
came out for Christmas with J.K. Simmons and The Rock.
Stay frickin' tuned.
Oh, and Chris Evans. God, so many people. Yeah.
About
All right.
5 people that we know of.
Yeah. Anything else at the top you guys wanted to add?
No.
You want me to,
Yeah, I want you to,
All
hit
right.
the button with the sound.
That's fair enough. Turn out lights, it's the main attraction. Shocker, 1989. It's real weird, and I don't know how much of you read about Andy, or if you even remember. Around this time, within 2 years, we had like 4 movies come out that all had a killer go to the electric chair and then come back from the dead.
What are the other ones?
The other ones were House 3, which was changed to the horror show. And if you give me a moment, I'll get the other titles for you if you guys want to kind of summarize what this movie is about.
Shocker is the darling story of a young man and his serial killer. Sweet, it's wholesome.
Here's the thing. I don't know what past Andy thought about this movie, but current Andy really enjoyed this movie.
I'm glad.
Don't get me wrong. It needed at least 20 minutes shaved off. There's no reason this movie is an hour and 55 minutes long.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be trimmed down.
It needed to be trimmed down in terms of length and some storylines, but there is a good movie in there somewhere.
So if you like this, Andy, you'll probably like these other 3 movies that came out right around the same time. 1987, you had Prison. Then in 88, Destroyer. And then the last one that came out before Shocker was House 3, the horror show.
I don't remember. I don't think I've seen any of those.
All right, so now you have all these to dive into.
Let's
and
do
you
a whole
compare them.
on electric chairs.
Electric chairs.
Sean,
Electric
call it
scares.
all Electric scares.
So Horace Pinker's a TV repairman, played by Mitch Pileggi.
Yeah.
Probably best known as Skinner from the
Yes.
X-Files. Or this, maybe. I don't know.
I guess it depends on where you're coming at it from, but I think even every hardcore horror fan has seen the X-Files and is Skinner.
I have to say, what a nice smile. He's got nice teeth.
I always thought he was a
Sure.
good-looking
Yeah.
man.
Sure.
You know?
Did you...
He's daddy.
Is he Brat Summer?
Mitch Pileggi, not Horace Pinker. Horace Pinker's a serial killer. Yeah, he's a TV repairman, but also he's a serial killer.
And the host of Magic Secrets Revealed. I just remember that.
Not Horace Pinker, Mitch Pileggi.
Mitch Pileggi was.
We were
That'd be a
talking
weird
about
spin-off.
Horace
Although
Pinker.
Horace Pinker did host one thing, Headbangers Ball, Halloween
true.
special. I sent you the clip. Did you get to watch the clip?
I forgot.
It's very short. I mean, it's him in character at
It's like a
Headbangers
tie-in.
Ball. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, it was to
ridiculous.
promote the movie. I'm pretty sure they were. MTV has a weird relationship with this movie.
Did he jump into the scene like in the movies?
No,
like,
they
from
didn't
hop
go-
from TV to TV.
They didn't go that flashy with it, but he was wearing the costume and everything. But
And giving it his all.
MTV, and if you grew up on MTV, and you can again find a lot of this on YouTube, it seemed like they were covering the lead up to the release of this movie. Well, I think mainly because there was so much on the soundtrack. There were so many
much
contemporary
hair
metal bands. Yeah.
This had like a song made for it, right?
Yeah, Shocker.
Yeah.
By a super band that was made up of members of like Kiss and Megadeth and all this stuff. So I think I got that right, but don't quote me on it. But you can Google it.
Yeah.
I
you're
like.
right.
I
Won't
like
be
the
fun
song.
if AC/DC did it.
You know what though? That would be
Dudes.
hilariously
Yeah.
appropriate.
It was Dudes of Wrath. That was
Dudes
the
of
name
Wrath,
of the
yeah.
super band.
AC/DC not being on this soundtrack is a huge miss.
Yeah, you missed an opportunity past rockers.
It's funny because they were on the Maximum Overdrive soundtrack.
The movie starts with aggressive hair metal. Like very loud, very aggressive. This whole movie
That's
is
the
very
song
loud.
Shocker.
Yeah,
And I think it's a pretty good song.
but it's aggressive
It is very aggressive. It's very hair
to
metal.
start a movie. You're not even given a moment. It just is like,
Well, the whole movie, like the first 2 acts, it goes at a breakneck pace.
Yeah.
and then it comes to a screeching halt.
because you have to go fast because you have 5 endings.
Yeah,
So it seems like the movie's moving fast to an end, and then it just keeps going after that.
but
And it keeps
I
going
do
after
like how
that.
they just throw you into the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a setup really, but it gets right to the point.
It's pretty exciting.
Is
Like,
the whole deal that Jonathan's head injury gave him visions?
No, he got visions because he's connected.
Oh, because it's his dad.
He is his real father.
You know, we
biological
spoil
father.
these movies,
Well,
obviously.
yeah, of course.
But yeah, there's a whole Empire Strikes Back moment.
They were just playing up the head injury in the football when he ran to the goalpost.
Because I'm like, the NFL would be full of oracles.
Yeah.
You feel like it was to confuse the
That's
issue?
a CTE
Even, maybe?
right there. Wasn't it? I'm sorry.
I wonder if he did that to even kind of muddy the waters a little bit and confuse it even more and be like, if he hits his head, I leave the opportunity to say this is all hallucination on the table, you know?
I have to say that head injury didn't help his bearing because he seemed pretty dumb already.
Yeah.
His Peter Berg performance is really unusual.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? Like, it looks like he pets rabbits too hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
The thing about him is he keeps his mouth open a lot of the time, and also he'll deliver half of a line, swallow, and then finish the line.
Yeah.
And he does that a lot, and it's kind of weird. But it's also, you're like, is that a valid choice?
Yeah.
Like,
And
I disagree with these choices.
It's probably that's just the way he looks, but he has like 1,000-yard stare where like the lights are on, nobody's home.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen a lot of his work as an actor, so like I'm not sure if it's always basically the same performance.
Yeah, it was
not.
just the unusual choices, like Amy said.
Yes. He's behind the camera for the most part now in his career.
Yeah, he does TV shows and like movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to say though, like that opening sequence, this is one of those examples of where Wes Craven's like imitating himself, where, you know, Freddy's making his glove in the opening of the first Nightmare on Elm Street, that Horace Pinker's working on I don't know if he's just doing regular TV repairs or if he's already
doing serial killer TV repairs.
I mean, the satanic TV repair.
That's his cover, right? That is that how he finds his victims.
Yeah.
That's how he gets in their houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
He comes
do
to
it in
repair
your
their
home.
TV. Yeah.
And then you think about how ominous that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what you see all the time on like Dateline and stuff. You know, well, once they eliminate the family as a murder investigation, the next thing is service people that visit the home, and this is what we get with Horace Pinker. Is he even a good TV repairman? We don't even know. He has enough money to have a logo on his van,
but it's a really fucked up van. Though.
Yeah, it's
really beat up.
It's rusted.
Yeah, that's true. And he's just your classic, I think, misogynistic nightmare killer.
Yeah.
Who is just hates women, possibly hates everyone else.
Everybody, because he killed whole families.
Whole families.
Yeah.
Basically, he's a family annihilator, but not in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get a nice montage of all the different news reports of what's going on, and then boom, John Tesh.
Yeah. And Heather Langenkamp's one of the victims, but I couldn't peg the moment, her moment on screen.
Was that part of the trivia? Because I didn't notice her.
You didn't notice it either? Okay.
Yeah,
I was looking for it and I missed it somehow.
It's a huge body count in this movie.
Oh, really? Do you know how many? I don't
know, but like
he was a major serial killer.
Yeah.
And even like he killed multiple families even during the movie. I mean,
yeah.
And I feel so bad for the main character. He went through it, man.
He really did, because first he's having like visions of this stuff happening, and he knows where the killer is now that it's all over the news. He knows he's in this TV repair shop and sends his adopted father, Don, who for the longest time we thought he was calling him Dodd instead of Dad. Because the way he said Don.
He might, but it's his adopted father, so he could have been calling him Da.
He could have been calling him Da. But
Tell.
So this, again, another Nightmare on Elm Street similarity where Nancy's dad was the cop, and his dad is the cop.
It's
Da.
The dream sequences where they can like travel through the astral plane and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He gets his family murdered, though, right?
Well, what happens is he puts
he
the
doesn't
cops
get it
onto
murdered.
where Horace Pinker is, and he's the reason that Horace Pinker goes to jail and gets sentenced to death.
Right, but I'm talking before that.
But he
kills his family.
He kills his girlfriend.
No, he kills his whole
he had killed his other family early on. Yeah, in the flashback.
No, in real
time.
Don's wife.
Yeah, his foster, because they kept mentioning his foster.
You know
family.
what? That didn't even land for me that he killed his foster mom.
No, because at the he killed his foster mom, his brother and his sister.
Yeah.
And
later,
and then later his girlfriend. Right?
God, and he kills up his coach and his friends. I
remember him killing his friends and his coach.
Everybody that helps him.
Yeah, this like I said, this poor guy went through a lot.
Yeah. So he killed them. Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense when they're at the execution later, and it's just
that's
the two
why
of them.
Yeah.
Why did that not? It did not connect for me at all that he killed them.
So he has this premonition, so he knows who it is.
Yeah.
He interacts with Horace Pinker
like,
in the vision.
He sees the murder happening or something like that. Yeah.
Do you think he's truly connecting with Horace Pinker in that moment? Because he does recognize him.
Oh, you mean
later
like
when he
in
sees him.
The Last Jedi? When
like Rey and
yes, and
Kylo.
Yes.
And then Horace Pinker took his shirt off, and then things got confusing.
Are you okay?
That's what happened in Star Wars.
No, I know. I was there.
Yeah, this is like that.
It got confusing for you?
No, not for me, but for Ren. But in this case, Peter Berg.
Yeah.
Rey.
So, do you think they were truly
touching tips?
I mean, it wasn't.
No.
The connection wasn't very explained very well.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, I know they have a connection because it turns out that Horace is his Peter Berg's real father, biological father. So I think that's why the connection, but it's not explained really well why they have this connection over the astral plane.
But doesn't it almost feels like he's only his father to explain that too?
Yeah,
because they don't. That whole theme of them being father and son really doesn't. Other than a couple of wisecracks, I don't remember it being a big part of it.
Weirdly thrown in.
Yeah.
Yeah. The movie would have been just fine without that, and that could have just been thrown out the door.
Yeah, so, the fact that that he's an adopted child was not necessary, and they kept referring it on the news too, like foster, like his foster family was murdered. Like here's his footage of him and his foster family at the funeral.
He's grieving in such a foster kid way.
It just seemed unnecessary to always refer to him
as a foster kid.
Yeah. But it was only to set up for the reveal later.
Yeah,
that
so we wouldn't forget. That I never forgot he was a foster kid, but I totally forgot that Horace Pinker killed his mom and sister.
Yeah, you sure did.
That part of it, I'm trying to even remember how it happened. I remember. I thought maybe it was a vision that he prevented. Is the way it read to me.
He did not
at first.
prevent it.
He did not.
Yeah, I think his MO was
they're dead.
Horace's MO was just stabbing people real good.
So
he has the premonition, so he begs his father to do something about it, and to go to Horace Pinker and to arrest him, basically. And so the dad doesn't really believe what the kid's saying. Like, there's no way you had a vision of the murder and you know who this is, but I'll go check it out because why not? And based on such a flimsy excuse, he commits a major civil rights violation, Horace Pinker. I'm surprised they even got all the way to the death penalty. This would have been thrown out. Fourth Amendment, guys.
Yeah.
Legal search and seizure. He just decides to break in.
There's literally a scene of someone being read their rights too, isn't there?
Is it the Fourth Amendment?
From the card?
Am I right?
No, but they set that up to say like, looks like somebody broke into the house, so let's go check what happened. That's how they cover their tracks.
It was totally egregious, and I didn't like it.
So help me out just for a moment.
Okay.
He kills the family, his adopted family.
Yes, this was the very first premonition he had.
In the premonition, and then he tells his dad, who doesn't believe doesn't believe him, but he does go check out
and commits a major violation.
Right. He checks out the TV repair shop, but Horace Pinker escapes. Right at this point, that's how he kills his girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's before they execute Pinker. Yeah. Okay, I'm making sure I got it straight. I've seen this movie probably more than anyone in this room, and I'm still struggling.
But when they go illegally search the house, he kills multiple police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
during the illegal raid.
Yeah,
he's a nasty killer. He's intimidating and kind of scary.
Yeah,
like that part of this movie really works for me.
I did like his repair shop with all those TVs playing the clips of horrible things happening? Does he have just that running all the time?
Bleeps, bloopers,
Yeah.
and practical jokes for psychopaths.
That was a good set piece, I thought.
God, when he kills the girlfriend, that set piece with all the blood, like
Yeah.
it was almost a little. And I thought this, and it felt so dumb when I had the thought. I was like, "That's a real messy job they did with all those handprints and stuff." You know, they feel very random, and I'm like, "Why wouldn't they be if he's a crazy killer anyway? They might just look like that." I imagine them working on it and making all those handprints.
It felt very Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With who's the girl that got torn apart? With
Yeah,
on the ceiling?
Tina.
Yeah, Tina.
Yeah. This is another case of, again, a connection to Nightmare on Elm Street. Besides that, he also killed Glenn, who was Nancy's boyfriend. So you got two dead
And the waterbed
significant
waterbed,
others.
I was gonna say.
And the waterbed.
from part 3 or 2.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which he did not direct, but
Yeah,
he
but
might have borrowed it from it.
That's why I said there's a
Yeah.
lot of this felt more like a along along the bloodlines of the
sequels.
Yeah, sequels.
So he had a
did you-
waterbed and he was watching water on TV. I thought it was
That's
it was
so
a weird
weird.
moment. Yeah.
But I mean, I listen to water every night with rainstorm sounds.
Maybe that's what he was doing.
Maybe.
He just it looked like a shot of just the ocean.
Waterbeds were such a weird idea.
My sister had one.
Uncomfortable.
I liked it.
My
I
mom
thought it was
had one.
fun. You could have turned the heat up on it. It would heat the whole bed, the water in the
does sound
bed.
nice.
That was nice.
My neighbor had one, and it's really good for play wrestling, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Till you pop it.
Yeah.
What happened with waterbed in this movie? Like, did Horse
Nothing.
Pinker puncture it? No.
Yeah,
it's just a tease.
I just noticed it.
Yeah.
because of Wes Craven.
Chekhov's waterbed. And it never went off.
For as big and bad as Pinker is, he kind of calmly lets them arrest him.
Because he knows. He already has planned. He's like,
He's already got, oh, okay, I didn't think about that. He already has a way out.
well, I think that's what they're showing in the beginning is his history of TV VCR repair plus Satanism. He's managed to finally intermingle them successfully, wherein he can use
So he knew
television
okay.
signals to transport his soul into other people and take them over.
What an unusual. What was the deal with the devil?
Yeah, like what does the devil get? You
Yeah.
mean in exchange for this? Probably
I guess the
HD
soul,
early.
I guess the souls of the people who killed. Maybe those are sacrifices.
Yeah.
But Pinker was like, "Hey, I kill people for you. You make me electricity."
No, he gave him free cable.
No, that's
He
it.
gave the devil
It
cable.
was expensive back then.
Yeah,
so.
it was. It was that box with the 3 buttons. And then all the other buttons are up and down the sides.
I had one of those.
Yep. They were fun.
Yeah.
They really made it a hunt sometimes.
God, we were old.
Especially if you didn't get the new program card and they changed where the channels were located.
And then,
you're like,
then it was just
"Ah."
chaos.
Yeah, you had to guess.
Well, that's why you had to go to the TV Guide channel.
yeah, and then you had to
where
watch
it
and wait.
And then watch
scrolled
that.
what the.
Does that still exist in some
Probably
form?
not, because we have the internet.
You're right.
We don't need
it.
a whole channel to tell us what's on TV.
You're right.
It's put so many people out of work that write that TV guy that scrolls on your screen.
We live in the age of streaming. Everything's on TV.
Someone's about to get a gold watch, right? The day that they invented TiVo.
So, like, this fucking batshit electricity ritual, satanic ritual
Yeah, I love this
on the
scene.
day of
His execution.
His execution.
I like that they pipe music in for his execution.
And
This
also,
like-
That's how it sounds.
did they give him candles as well at last, right? Because he had all the candles and the Satanic book
He had all
in
the
front
candles.
of the TV.
Yeah.
And-
Everything should have been contraband that was involved in that.
Well, my favorite part of this whole thing is he's doing the ritual. He has like these wires attached to TV, and there's electricity shooting out of it.
Jumper cables, even.
Yeah, and
Yeah, where the fuck did he get those?
and the devil comes out. His mouth says, "Oh yeah," or something like
Oh,
that.
well, he says, "Give it to me."
Yeah.
Is what Horace Pinker says, and that's why I love this scene. Is he's demanding this power from the devil, and you know how the devil replies is, "You got it, baby."
Yeah, that's it. That he said this weird thing.
Yeah.
and you can see the devil's lips mouth it.
Yeah, I love that.
I feel like Wes Craven wrote that in a screenplay, and then underneath it he said, "But maybe we should cut that if we can't really make it look right."
Well, the funny thing about the effects in this movie
Hoping.
It comes out
look right.
and everybody's raving about how good the effects are. But there's just as many people on the flip side saying they're terrible. And he comes out in an interview and says that the guy they hired to do the effects, like partway through, admitted that he had no idea what he was doing.
Oh my gosh.
And they had to scramble to redo a bunch of effects. And then also all of those film reels that they had to go put together to change the effects on and to fix were all under different people's desks and stuff at this facility. So they had to hunt them down.
Oh my goodness.
And I think that's one of the reasons the movie feels disjointed.
Yeah.
Is because they probably had to make some decisions that just were like, this is the best we're going to get. And then they test screened it and nobody liked it. Because originally they were going to do it as a TV series. And I guess they reworked it and made it, and then it just became a movie.
Maybe that's why it feels like there's multiple endings.
Yeah, that makes sense. But then he ended up doing what was it, Nightmare Cafe? Wes Craven ended up making another TV show instead. And this whole movie wouldn't have existed if it weren't for John Carpenter having a contract with Alive Pictures, who produced one of his movies. I can't remember which one. They Live. And then he didn't like working with them, and he had 3 slots left in his contract, and they let him give them as a gift to Wes Craven, I guess.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so he gifted the contract or signed the contract to him, and they made this.
Oh, this is like his deal with the devil.
Yeah, and People Under the Stairs. I don't know if he made a third movie with him or not, or a fourth movie. It would be a third movie for him. But he did People Under the Stairs and Shocker with them.
Interesting.
But there's probably a whole bunch of that on the internet if you want to know the whole story. But I thought it says a lot about why the movie is the way it is, I think.
Finger looking good.
Yeah. Plus, it only had a $5 million budget.
Yeah. I think
I think they did a lot with what they had.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It only had a $5 million budget. I would have guessed it cost more than that, looking at it. But I'm thinking of today's movies, probably.
But you figure out that the ritual allows Horace Pinker to become electricity, basically, and to move from body to body, inhabiting as some sort of. He's not he's like demon electricity. He's like.
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
You feel like I like you think
demonic.
about it too much, you'll get painted into a corner of nonsense.
I don't know. So he inhabits this little girl, and she's like, "Come on, you fucker, move!" This little girl says that.
She's
Very
shaking hands
funny.
with danger. She's on a cat
Yeah.
machine when she does that.
This was
Sort
a
of
great
construction.
sequence, though. The escape sequence when he gets
Yeah.
out of prison, and from then on, he just hops from body to body.
Body to
And he
body.
goes to the park and finds this little girl. And the little girl's cussing like Horace Pinker. And kicks.
Limping, too.
Yeah.
Dragging the leg. I love that part.
What a weird little thing to keep with you.
Yeah.
You can hop from body to body, but you still have that one injury.
Yep.
Yep.
You got to have the limp, the drag the leg. Otherwise, we won't know who he is.
But I did like how the little girl kicked Peter Berg in the balls and and tried to run him over with a heavy equipment.
There's like a super cut on YouTube, I think, of all the moments with the little girl.
Yeah.
And it is really funny because one of the genres is comedy that's listed here, and I do think a lot of it's intentional stuff. But
Well, a question about the body hopping, because later in the movie, Donnie, the Peter Berg's dad,
Detective Dad,
says that they found the body of one of the people he hopped into, and it was like a husk, like a husk of a body, like Horace Pinker after he got electrocuted. So does he husk the bodies?
he
that
uses
hopped
them
into?
until he burns them up.
I guess so.
Basically,
He husks them.
So does that mean the little girl and the mom that he jumped into
All
were
dead.
also husked?
well, I think he uses them if they interrupt him. It's okay, but like if he uses them, he'll
maybe-
stay in them until he's
so the
done
longer
with them.
he's in the body.
They burn up.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were talking about like they did that in The Hidden too, where the alien would take over the body and it could only live so long.
Okay, that makes me feel better that the girl didn't get husked.
But I'm the guy who missed that the whole family was massacred somehow. So you can't take what I say for anything.
But he was only in the little girl and the mom for a couple minutes. So.
yeah,
So
rephrase
hopefully they're
that.
not
Yeah.
dead. Yeah. he's not.
But he's like, if he, well, he must have drained a lot of their life out of them at least.
Yeah,
So that maybe the little girl does have a limp after.
Or they're leathery. They're
Yeah.
both real leathery now.
We haven't talked about Ted Raimi yet.
Oh, sweet little Ted Raimi.
Sweet
Yeah.
little
So
Ted
adorable.
Raimi. Freddie called him Dead Raimi when he died in the movie, and I thought that was funny, so I wrote it
Thank
down.
you. What his character had an interesting name too.
Pac-Man, I think.
Thank
wasn't it?
you.
Yeah.
It was Pac-Man. That's what it was.
You get it because
whatever
he's a nerd, so
Yeah.
he's into video games, so he's called Pac-Man.
He is Pac-Man.
Or maybe it's because he eats a lot. I
He's
don't know.
constantly eating yellow dots.
He's afraid of ghosts
So at this point, girlfriend Ghost shows up. Dead
for no
girlfriend.
reason.
For no reason. For some reason, only Wes Craven knows because it doesn't appear in the movie.
She's like a bright white
Well,
angel.
She
Is it
becomes
because
like
she had like a violent death and she was killed by a demonic person, so her soul's not at rest?
Oh, maybe.
oh my gosh, I guess.
But she also felt like she came down from on
she
high.
had power.
She
man.
wasn't so much ghosty as she was a heavenly sent character. Like like Frankie Avalon when he does Beauty School Dropout in Greece.
And the necklace that he gave her now becomes this like talisman that can ward off Horace Pinker.
And it's just
Or
like
hurt
something from
him.
Claire's.
Yeah, what a lazy present.
Yeah.
It seemed like
Just a heart necklace.
It's Valentine's Day, and he got off work.
Yeah.
and he forgot to get a present. He went to CVS and got something real quick.
The heart of the ocean,
Yeah.
it ain't.
No.
It was just literally a wire heart.
Yeah. But it held the power of their love, I guess. How did it end up in the lake? I don't remember that either.
The
They were fighting, right?
Did he fling it off?
It
into
was
the lake?
after he was body hopping in the park, and he hopped out the little girl, and a construction worker came by, and helped out the little girl because he thought he was attacking her,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Ooh, a nice body, like a strong body," and Peter Berg used
Yeah.
a talisman to get the body Horace out of the mother's body. Because when you put the talisman on the body,
He has to leave.
Horace has to skedaddle.
Yes.
It's one of those rules they just kind
Skedaddle.
of came up with in the middle of the
Yeah.
movie.
So the construction worker yeets the necklace into the lake.
There's your yeet for the week.
And
if we-
it's
if
Yeet of
I
the
love
Week.
eating.
If we were doing a video show, you'd have a yeet of the week, like on those sports shows.
And there'd be a sound like, whoop.
Yeah.
Pew, 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 pew.
This week's yeet of the week.
So it ends up in the bottom of the lake, so then he has to go get it, and then like he magically gets it because girlfriend ghost is powerful.
Yeah. That's how it works.
But he's still scared of her for some reason. Even though she's desperately trying to help him out. He was like, ghosts.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be like, ghost too, probably.
Yeah.
It takes some getting used
But
to.
it's been established that she's helping him out. But
Yeah.
he's still scared of her.
But he also has been established he can't trust who people are because you could have one in your pinker, several others in your stinker.
Well, it was
Several.
never established that Pinker can impersonate ghosts, though.
That's true. But wouldn't you just naturally assume at this
I
point
guess so.
Little limping ghost.
that you are constantly in danger?
This-
that Mitch Pileggi will come into your life.
So we're like inching towards the real finale of the movie, but there's this moment where they're at the top of the radio or TV.
Oh, before you
Yeah,
talk,
just
you
cell
should talk
phone.
about Coach first before you go there.
What would you like to talk about Coach?
Coach deserves a little bit of acknowledgement
You're right.
before you
Coach
get to
died.
the water
Yeah.
tower or whatever.
But
it
what
is.
did you want me to say? His coach.
That his coach was so heavily invested in his kids' lives. He had no
No, it's-
concerns outside of them.
I was going to say, like, I did like how his coach and teammates were behind him and believed him
Yeah.
for this fantastical thing. That,
They all died for it.
yeah.
Yeah. They rallied behind him, and you're right. They never questioned
Yeah.
him.
Like,
Never once.
If somebody came up to me, it's like, hey, Andy, I need your help.
Yeah.
This serial killer is hopping body to body.
Yeah. Like these guys are more in line and on each other's sides
Yeah.
than like the Ted Lasso
Yes,
cast.
exactly. I would have trouble believing him,
Yeah.
but he has good coaches and teammates.
Yeah. They know him well enough. And I love the coach is like, I'd do anything for you. I'll die for you. And that guy might have a wife at home and other kids. He might have biological children.
He was actually able to fight off Horace Pinker a
He
little
was.
bit.
Yeah.
He was.
And kill himself instead
Yeah.
of hurting Peter Berg, which I'm not sure.
So
His willpower. Yeah.
if you have a strong constitution, you can force Horace out of your body if
Yeah.
you wanted to.
If you wanted to.
But that's all. I just felt like we were leaving a very valiant character.
Same thing with
in the
Pac-Man,
gutter.
because
Yeah.
Dead
Pac-Man
Raimi.
died. Dead Raimi
Dead
dies
Raimi, yeah.
alongside the coach.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, so we're at the top of, was it the TV station? Yeah.
Are you talking about the satellite thing?
Yeah, the satellite dish. They're at the top of this thing. It's so high up. Not really, obviously, because it was very clearly a model, but like still, it triggered me hardcore. And
Oh,
I'm
really?
like,
Just the height thing?
the heights. Yeah, that was like really like
Huh.
squicking me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nobody else was.
It
triggered by
didn't.
that?
It didn't read as real to me.
Yeah, I
like
didn't real like.
to
It didn't
Oh, it
cause
didn't-
to
it
me
wasn't
as
enough.
like they were so high. And,
I knew it wasn't real. I know that.
I feel like
I know it's
need-
not real.
Well, I know you know that,
Yeah.
but what I mean is like it didn't. It wasn't even like
I'm messing with
it
you.
wasn't executed in a way where I felt like I was
wasn't
no,
immersed
it's
in
like
it.
I get how you feel. Like, you know, those videos of people scaling buildings
Yes.
and jumping from building to building. Those
Yeah.
freak me out. But
Those get me.
in terms of this, it wasn't treated as super dangerous.
Yeah. Plus, everybody felt invulnerable in this movie, except for
Right.
the ancillary characters, of course. But like the main cast, I was like, nobody's gonna get hurt here. They're all too tough. They're all too tough.
So is this a scene, the part where Horace jumps into the satellite and gets beamed out to every TV
Every
station,
television.
every television in the city?
Yeah, I like that he kind of pops in and out of shows. Homer did the same thing on The Simpsons at one point. Remember?
Simpsons did it.
And I
This
think
is they did it before The Simpsons, I think.
yeah, this was
Yeah,
before.
this is '89. So
Are you mad at Elsa's fart?
Yes.
You want us to acknowledge it stinks?
No, I just am having a hard time.
It's bad.
Stinky dog fart.
Yeah.
Sorry, gang. Had to be noted. Yeah, so he's in your boob tube now.
So if he had this ability the whole time, why wasn't that his first plan?
I guess he
What do you mean? Like
didn't realize he could do it, maybe, or
he was still working on? You mean getting the power to go on the TV? Like
Yeah.
why didn't he always do it?
Yeah.
He didn't finish it until he was in the
No,
jail
like
cell.
after he got electrocuted, he for some reason he was stalking Peter Berg, but you could have just easily jumped in the TV and killed more people.
Didn't it feel like he did? Could he jump from TV to TV before the satellite scene?
no.
So he had to get to the satellite then.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, he had to get to the
But that's
satellite
not.
dish,
This
apparently.
doesn't really make all that much sense because later
Yeah.
he just jumps into the Barca Lounger,
He does. That scene's
the
fucking great.
electrical.
Yeah, and he jumps into TVs at some.
Yeah.
At
So
many
he could have
points.
jumped into a.
He didn't need the satellite.
Well, he
necessarily.
needed the
Yeah.
satellite to get into everybody's TV. That's what.
But he could have
needed.
but you're saying he could have just gone into Peter Berg's television,
Yeah.
and turned up
Lived there.
like on Johnny Carson that night.
Yeah,
Again, we're
this movie is silly.
picking hairs, but
Splitting
we're
hairs,
splitting hairs, picking hairs,
shitting rocks.
Picking noses.
splitting hairs. I was close enough.
Yeah,
I know what you meant.
it just
Because-
sounds gross when you say picking hairs. Ugh.
We get the half man, half recliner
That's so
Horace
funny.
Pinker, which was just, again, this feels like something that sounded cooler in Wes Craven's head.
Yeah,
But it's very silly to
That's,
look at.
I mean, it's a silly movie.
Yes.
Because that happens, and he starts jumping from show to show
Yeah.
and jumping in and out of people's houses.
yeah.
That was a cool scene.
I love that moment.
Yeah.
it's so dumb.
Is this where he refers to his Volkswagen?
Want to take a ride in my Volkswagen? Volts with a T.
And he runs. They go from like channel to channel, like from like there's a war scene from a plane, and Horace becomes a airplane that shoots bullets
Yeah.
out. And there one scene they're with Leave It a Beaver, and they're in the car, and Peter Berg's like, "Help me, Beaver! Help me!"
Beaver. It was like a real low rent version of Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
where they put people like it. I mean, it wasn't terrible, I guess, but like Robert Zemeckis just stands on the shoulders of Wes Craven. Shocker.
And
All I'm saying.
then they run to, like, I guess somebody changed the channel, and they go to the Hindenburg disaster, and
Yeah.
And I guess the
There's so much
environments
green
they're
screen.
in,
goofy.
the environments they're in, they can interact with. So they're dodging bullets in the war scenes.
Yeah, they can interact with them if you
The
believe hard
physics
enough.
of it all makes no sense.
A lot of it feels like they was all done in one day and
Mm-hmm.
a green screen behind them.
But it was still fun to
It
see
was.
them. And then they jump into the living room with that white trash family.
Yeah. The one she was nonplussed.
Yeah.
She just wanted the remote or something. I can't remember
What was
she
the
wanted.
dumb shit thing she said? And I was like, that's a little hack. Ah, damn it. I don't remember what it was.
I just watched it a
yeah,
couple
she
hours
says,
ago.
and I thought TV was immersive before or something
Oh,
stupid like
interactive
that.
TV or something.
Interactive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of interactive programming or audience participation,
Yeah, that's
but
it.
this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it was.
I was like,
it was a
that's
very
a
Looney
little-
Tunes line.
Little hack.
Yeah.
I was not impressed.
She should have looked right down the camera when she did it, and then it would have worked.
It had the feeling of.
Yeah. I
for
love
sure.
where, you get to the point where Peter Berg's character can just jump into the camera.
That's how he gets out.
Yeah.
And he leaves Horace Pinker in the
I just
TV
thought
world.
if this was in William Castle's day, like someone
Or
would
the
jump
Dream
out the
World.
screen and
Oh,
run,
yeah.
run down the aisle
Yeah. And we would have got a little buzz.
where
there.
did we- where
We'd
did
been
we
cussed
trap
at
him?
by a little girl.
in the TV.
In the TV?
Because they turned.
Yeah.
He had his teammates go to the power grid and destroy
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
And that trapped him in there.
Yeah.
And then Peter Berg jumped out through the camera
He got out just in time.
just in time.
Yep.
And then he lives. And then the song, I am the sword, you are the stone plays.
Yeah. Which,
I am the sword.
so again, I kind of like this song. And
You
then there's
are
this real
stone.
strange second song.
Is that like a sex thing?
The second song or the sword? and
No,
the stone?
I am the sword, you are the stone.
Sure.
Isn't it always?
It's hair metal. The second song they play sounds like it's from like a romantic comedy, though. Did you
Right.
notice that song ended and then you get like a verse and a chorus of another song that's way wrong for the movie? Anyway, I recommend sitting there and just listening for yourself to see. You got to be like, what? Why is this in there?
I didn't stick around that long to hear the second song.
Yeah.
You were like, I am the sword, you are the stone.
I was exhausted by the end because, like I
There
said,
were
it needed some
48
editing.
endings.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Knock off 47 of them and you'd have had a better movie. No, I'm just kidding.
I enjoyed it enough never to watch it again in my life. But if I do, I'd be like, all right.
No, I would know when to turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the beginning of the third act, that's when like I'm done.
You're like, I'm done now.
Yeah.
I don't
Even
need to
though-
see it turn out.
Even though it had that awesome sequence where they're jumping from channel to channel.
Right.
Yeah. Good times.
Great country.
So next week, I can't think of anything else to say about Shocker. Can you?
No, I feel like I've spoken my truth.
Yeah. Andy?
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
said,
Volkswagen.
it was very surprising how much I enjoyed it.
So we'll be watching hopefully Wes's pick.
Yeah.
And if not, we'll find something. And
It's going to be a surprise.
you guys want to talk about Red One?
Boy, do I.
I feel you guys have a lot stronger feelings than I do about this.
See, and I didn't even pay as much attention as Freddy did, and I was just offended by this movie. What a violent family movie. It was so violent.
It was violent in the terms as much as like Marvel movies were.
Well,
Right.
exactly.
It to me, it just felt like a real mess. Like I couldn't understand how this was cobbled together as a story, because you get this great Santa Claus character and you got J.K. Simmons, who's awesome. You know, I could watch a movie of J.K. Simmons as Santa Claus and then he disappears because he's kidnapped. So he's out of it now for most of the movie.
He's in a ball most of the movie.
Yeah, and they set up Chris Evans as almost like a Scroogey kind of character, and you think he's gonna have this arc, but really it's just a thing about him that they kind of are like, okay, he's gonna be Scroogey.
And that was not necessary. The
Yeah.
whole guy that doesn't believe in Christmas and is
His whole family subplot.
yeah, and a bad father, and he needs to find the good in people again. I felt that could have been cut out totally because it just added too much to the movie.
Well, they did the same thing with The Rock's character, where
It's
he's
over
the head
2
elf.
hours long.
Again, that's another. It could have just been streamlined. Santa's kidnapped, and they need to get him back.
Yeah,
Nobody needs to find the joy of Christmas again.
No.
yeah. That you're right. That would have probably fixed it in a lot of respects. You don't get the villain on screen until well into the movie, and it's Kieran Shipka.
Yeah, which I feel was miscast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that too.
She doesn't have the
She doesn't have that gravitas.
the chutzpah to be a
She should have got
villain.
that sass.
Yeah.
Who would you have put in her place? You think like
I don't know, like somebody that's older,
Yeah.
for one,
Yeah.
that has more just screen presence, like a Charlize Theron, maybe.
Maya Rudolph.
Yeah,
Maya Rudolph. Oh, and then leaned into the comedy.
yeah,
part
somebody
of it
that's
a
more
little
threatening or funnier.
I
Yeah.
bet she could do it.
Movie also was the genre wise was really hard to define, which I normally doesn't bother me, but because so much is going on in this movie, it did. Like you at least need the genre to hold together if your story is so scattered.
Well, I felt if they should have streamlined the story because I liked the world they were building.
Yeah.
Like
It was like sci-fi
Yeah.
Santa, which is fun.
and that agency that Lucy Liu's the head of. What is
Yeah.
it? The
I can't remember now.
the mythical creature
So
agency.
that in case it were a
Yeah.
success, they could spin it off.
Yeah, I
maybe.
liked that. What I liked the bones that they're building with the North Pole city. That's all modern and how all these little creatures around and the mythical creature division. I really like what they did when they had the headless horseman in the
Yeah.
background.
That
And
actually was awesome.
Yeah, I thought there was gonna be more of that with all these mythological legends and creatures and cryptids.
Well, didn't
that
you
stuff
feel like
that.
they set that up in that scene? It almost feels like a Hellboy in the Golden Army
Yeah.
kind of moment. And then you have that's all CG for the most part, but then you get to Krampus's lair. And to me, that was like the best sequence in the movie, even though really it didn't need to be there. It didn't have a lot of
Yeah,
connection to anything else. But all those makeup
Yeah.
jobs were practical makeup jobs that looked like Star Wars or something.
So I wish they spent more time in that
Yeah.
realm, that world they were building,
Yeah, me too.
instead of the action stuff.
I just don't think. Yeah, I think the Marvelization of it pissed me off more than
Also, yeah,
anything.
like all of a sudden,
in The Rock,
Rock can
I'm kind of
shrink.
over it, dude.
yeah, I don't blame him for
He's
it.
got a small head.
Well, it's because his body's so big.
It's
Because he
getting
kept
bigger.
shrinking and growing in the movie.
That was cute
Yeah.
because I guess in actuality he's an elf,
Yeah, but they don't set that up
and
hardly.
the Rock that we see is his enlarged form because he has this little device that can make things big and small.
He's Ant-Man.
Yeah.
That's the
Do we care?
problem
Are
here.
these spoilers?
I don't know how you could spoil this movie. It's
Okay.
so all over the place.
All right, I'll put it in the description that we do spoil it.
That we-
though.
yeah. Well, in that case, we should just talk about the fact that, Nick Kroll is wasted on this movie. He comes in late in the story and is barely used, except to be a puppet for Kieran Shipka's character, the villain. And the ending is so
Kieran,
unsatisfying.
right?
Is it Kieran?
Kiernan, yeah,
Kiernan?
yeah.
You
Ooh,
hear
getting
that?
some
You hear
fresh
that water?
water.
Yeah. Sounds crisp and clean.
You want to go to the
Did I just
bathroom?
make
don't
you have to
Yeah.
pee, Lister? I'm sorry.
But yeah,
But this will make me have to pee too.
I had a real knee-jerk reaction to this movie. It was really like just it felt like that Coca-Cola AI ad.
He was
It's
just
the
so
same
mad
way I
at it.
felt.
It was very digitized.
yeah.
I don't know how they spent $250 million on this
Is that what the budget was?
because
Oh wow.
Do you know how
The
many
vast ma-
shockers you can make for
yes.
that?
it was 25 million to five. You can do
Scared
like 50 of those,
Yeah.
but it's the vast majority of this movie CGI. I don't think it was very well done CGI, but the practical stuff I thought was done really well.
Right.
So I feel most of the budget went to the cast probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure did.
I even felt that Chris
$250
Evans'
million.
Boston accent wasn't that good, and he's from fucking
Now
Boston.
it kept dipping in and out.
It's not good.
It's kind of like
That's where you're from, bro.
when you see like British actors try to
Yeah.
do an accent, then every now and then their British accent slips in.
Andrew Lincoln.
But this was the opposite because
Yeah.
his accent kept slipping out.
Yeah. I was saying
Every
it
now
felt
and
like
then
he
it'll
trained
be-
it out of
yeah.
himself and now he can't get it back.
Right.
I think the same thing happened with Mel Gibson and his Australian accent.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
But same thing.
Yeah.
But I don't. Like, it's not a great movie, but I was engaged because I kept waiting for this next stupid thing to happen.
Oh yeah. I kept watching it too. We made it all the way to the
Yeah.
end.
And there were some cute moments. Like when they're going through that toy store and The Rock is gathering all these little supplies. And later on, he turns these toys that he gathers into like weapons and stuff like that. That was cute.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd rather watch Shocker 50 times though.
50?
Yeah, to make up for the budget of
Really 50 whole times versus
50 times
1
Shocker.
2-hour movie that you can struggle through for 2 hours.
You're right.
Come on.
I can't argue with that math.
You'd watch Shocker twice,
Mm-hmm.
but not that many times.
But not more than twice.
No.
Unless it's on.
Unless it's on.
Same with Red One. If it's on.
No. I guess just mixing Christmas with the Marvel kind of style action just didn't do it for me. And I don't know why.
I feel they didn't go far enough in either anyway, because
They should have gone like full gore and everything, or not as much freaking violence.
they should have gone further with that and further with the potty mouth stuff. Because at first it was set up that it was going to be like a Bad Santa type thing with Chris Evans and his misanthropy.
Yeah.
But no, they pulled punches everywhere. It didn't go. It was too middle of the road to stand out.
Yeah. It's hard to make a classic Christmas movie. They can't all be White Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, you guys watched
Or Holiday Inn
recently.
Minus the blackface scene.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
Although it's so integral to the plot.
Yeah.
I guess that's why it's still in there.
It's on Amazon Prime. Holiday Inn. It feels weird to say, I love this movie that contains a blackface scene.
And the blackface scene is really good too. It's just horribly, by our standards, terrible today.
It's pretty racist portrayal of African Americans. But other than that,
But it comes from a sweet place.
it's a perfect movie.
In a weird way. It does. It comes from a weirdly sweet place because he only does it to disguise his girlfriend.
Freddie, you don't have to like stick up for Irving Berlin.
In the song, it's a weird vibe because you don't feel like the person that wrote that song or directed that sequence was like hated black people or anything like that or was trying to demean them deliberately.
So it was more of a disguise than
It was
actual...
it was a disguise, and then I think it was also a case of a misguided way to try to pay tribute to the black characters in the movie.
They could have disguised them as anything else.
Yeah.
Anything.
Oh, anything. Right.
Could have worn them
But
out.
I'm talking about intention, though. I think the reason the scene might still be in the movie is that the intentions are not plainly obvious.
Anyway, I love that movie. It's where
Not defending it. I'm just saying why you
Contextually.
can still go out and watch this movie uncut on any Holiday Inn is Holiday Inn no matter where you get it. You're not going to have that scene excised.
So did any famous Christmas songs come out of this?
is this where Happy Holiday?
Oh yeah, Easter Bonnet came out of this. White Christmas, Happy Holidays.
White Christmas came out of Holiday Inn?
Yeah. There's another one, but I can't remember. Soundtrack's great.
Yeah.
I would think they would come out of White Christmas.
Well, it was in White Christmas too.
Yeah.
Well, White Christmas is a reworking of Holiday Inn.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a reboot, but it's like the same concept and spirit
Sequentially.
where they open
And
the
I love
inn.
them both so much.
They're really good movies.
I'm going to add Meet Me in St. Louis into the mix now, too.
That was great.
That was lovely.
Did we say on here that was our first time? Amy and I
Yeah,
both.
I think we talked about it last week.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Andy, you turned us onto that more or less.
You're good at turning me on. That was from The Simpsons. Sorry.
So be it.
Hit my head and I had to
Simpsons
say it
did
out
it.
loud. All right. Anything else? Anything else we want to talk about?
Well, like on Saturday, I went to John Waters was in town.
Oh, yeah.
And he did his Christmas show. And it was really good, really fun.
Yeah. Is it a lot like his stand-up type?
Basically,
his
it's
spoken
just
word?
spoken like he just talks about Christmas and things like that.
Kind of like his personal experience growing up and stuff.
A little bit of that, and just like his views on Christmas in general. I mean, that wasn't all Christmas stuff, but like that's what it was billed as. But yeah, it's just his thoughts on things.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see him live.
Yeah. You've seen him before though, didn't you?
At Horror Hound.
At Horror Hound,
yeah.
we saw him together. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, he's great.
Does he have a set? Or is he just doing like
No,
straight stand up?
No, he has because he at some points he forgot where he was at and he had to go to his pocket and like, oh, what I forgot.
Oh, look at his
Look at his notes.
What town he was in?
Yeah.
No, I meant like a set. Like
Oh no! I
around
thought you
him.
meant like a
No.
comedy set. No, it was just a stage and there's some Christmas projections in the background.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
I like the idea of a big fireplace. If I
Yeah.
ever did a
Yeah.
Christmas show, I'd want a fireplace.
Heck yeah.
And sit down on a nice chair
Yeah.
with a blanket draped over
Yeah.
the
Tell
back
a
of it.
story to little children.
And I know he has the right to say like no pictures or anything, but he said no pictures or video. Like I just wanted one picture of him.
I kind
That
of,
does
yeah,
suck.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah,
though.
I do.
It
I guess-
changes the
yeah.
experience when people aren't allowed to take video.
Yeah,
of it.
I wasn't gonna take video or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I just wanted one picture of him on stage.
Right.
Yeah.
If you said like like okay, show's over, if everybody wants to take a picture now.
Oh, I
here's
was
your
going to
chance.
say you didn't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So no meet and greet or anything
No.
after.
No, but it was just really cool to see him
Yeah.
and talk, just talk.
He's a special
Yeah.
dude.
Cool, dude.
Have you watched Secret Level on Amazon at all?
I never even heard of that.
Do you know Death and Robots or whatever, Death Section
yeah.
Robots from Netflix? It's the same team, but they took existing IP. And the first one is Dungeons and Dragons, and they have an artist make a short film.
Yeah.
And the Dungeons and Dragons one was pretty neat. And I wasn't familiar with younger people are probably familiar with all these other games that inspired these other episodes. So there's the first one, of course, everybody knows D&D. Then there's all these ones I wasn't really familiar with. So I just skipped to the Pac-Man episode.
Yeah.
It made me think of it when you were talking about Ted Raimi's character. It is so weird. I recommend it's like a 10 or 15 minute short film. And it is the weirdest use of Pac-Man I've ever seen, including the old cartoon. It's a strange springboard for a really weird, almost like a horror film, short horror film. It's called
Interesting.
Pac-Man the Circle, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's all I got going on. That I'm about to beat RoboCop Rogue City soon, I think.
Heck
Excited
yeah.
for that.
That's my baby.
Gotta get all these nuke using scums off the streets of Detroit.
Yeah.
You know.
At the end of every show, we say hi to our Beelzebubs. Patreon.com/NOTLP if you're interested. All right. This is the list of those people. Are you ready? I'm going to go from the bottom. Paul. Dave. Ernie. Jeremy. Cassie and Gamora. Monica. Jordash Jeans. Blayne Yogurt. Bill Fahrner. Old Dirty Billsterd. Dr. Brian. Iona Goodwin.
I own a great one.
Jeffo. I don't know why I wanted to just shout that for you. Branan and Emily. And Matt. Those are our Beelzebubs,
thank you.
everybody.
Guys.
Thanks so much for listening today.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old buddy